Ministry of Health has launched yet another service under universal health coverage. This new service includes conducting pap smears using liquid-based cytology, which will assist in eliminating cervical cancer.
This new method of conducting pap smears is more comfortable and more convenient. So ladies, contact your nearest wellness center to get to know about our pap smear clinics.
Turnaround time for HPV testing is 1 week. Any abnormal or positive test, there will be a following week for cytology testing. We also going to test for HPV strains 16 and 18, which are the most aggressive, which cause cervical cancer. We can also test for other STIs such as herpes simplex type 1 and type 2, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others.
Patients with an abnormal HPV and an abnormal cytology shall be referred to the colposcopy clinic. At that clinic, we shall assure that you get the proper treatment and guidance.
So come in and access this new service. Your health is our priority.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12 p.m. 30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday
for the day
on Real.
And 91.5 South. We also simulcast on, and we also stream live via YouTube. It is the 14th day of the month of October 2024. Hope you had a good weekend like I did, and hope you have every reason to be optimistic, to be anticipating positive things, happy things, joyous things, accomplishments and so on for this work week which has just started. I do hope you came through in one piece. We're not involved in any accidents or mishaps, although we are hearing of a couple of them. One of them, we are told, a collision between a motorcycle and a motor car resulted in both bursting into flames. And my goodness, that's got to be some bit of a bang for that to happen. Elsewhere, I mean, mishaps happen all the time, but the sad thing is so many of them are avoidable. We really don't have to go down that way. I've spoken so much about it already that I wonder if I should even mention it again, but I did take a drive down to Soufre and back upon the advice of someone who would know. I hadn't been there for a while. I asked what would be the best route, and the individual told me the shortest route, of course, would be the West Coast, going through Ansteray and Canries and all of that to Soufre. But I had heard of road construction and that sort of thing. And I said, that sounds like something for someone who hasn't been there for a while. You know, to go into all these things that come with major road construction and open trenches and drop-offs and so on and so forth. And the time that I had left to reach there by a certain hour, I think I'll take my chances and go around Vieux Fort, L'Abri, Choiseul, etc. That I did. And according to the schedule that I had established with the person that I was supposed to meet, it was just in the nick of time before they were about to go out on some Sunday walk or picnic or something. So just managed to catch them in the nick of time. But I decided, I would not be denied getting a first-hand view and refamiliarization with the West Coast. So I said on my way back, I'm not going back through Vieux Fort and Choiseul and all of that. I'm going to take my chances with Bouton and, and Canaries and Belvedere and all of that. And I didn't regret it. You had to be careful, of course. The road works, but there were signs, copious signs, lots of signs to guide you 100 yards. There's an open trench. Next place, there's a drop-off. There's construction equipment and so on. So there was guidance all along the way. Decided to stop off at a place in Belvedere. Looks like somewhere I'd been before. And, have a little snack, a couple of drinks and so on. It was very nice. Something off the grill. I won't tell you what it was. It wasn't Manikou. It wasn't Agouti. Wasn't anything like that. But the sad thing was a little higher up Belvedere that I stopped at a lookout point so that I could take a look, through some leaves. There's often a very nice effect when you have the branches and the leaves and so on, and you can peer through them to see the bay and to see the water. So you have the greenery and you have the blue, beyond it and so on. Looks just nice. I stopped to have a look and, it was beautiful. Until at one time, I said to myself, Shelton, what are you doing? You all alone. Yes, it's beautiful, but you stop in these isolated places to take the view, and you never know, for all your good intentions and innocence and ingenuousness and so on, you have no kind of bad-mindedness or malice about you, but other people are not like that. They might see somebody there alone and figure, hey, this guy may have a wallet that we can walk up to him and demand that he hand it over and whatever else that they might. So as I was about to leave, I guess I was so immersed in looking at, the distant Canaries Bay and so on through the trees and, nice wild, flowers and so on. Some of them look like banana trees. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're not really banana, but they have the leaves and the foliage and so on. Beautiful. I looked around near my feet. And again, it always looks so out of place to me. What were those plastic bottles doing there? People obviously stopped there. Folks, you stop there to enjoy the view. Part of the view is the environment, the beauty of the environment, the trees. The heat these days has been so bad that sometimes I put on my AC and it takes a long time unless I put it on the recirculated air first, build up take down the temperature that way and then bring it up. But the moment I climb the hill from Soufrière, it's like the effect of the forest, the effect of the canopy of the foliage was instantaneous. Vehicle got cold so fast I had to, increase the temperature on the button, and I'm saying, wow, look at that, look at what mountain air does. Down at sea level it struggles, and I'm thinking maybe my air condition, which is not very long, it was service, filter change and all. And I'm thinking, oh boy, is it that this thing has gone bad? It needs a filter change. And I realized, no, it's just the heat, in the lower reaches at sea level, etc. And I'm feeling so nice that I have to. At one point, I turned off the AC completely. I said, I don't need this. Enjoy some nice fresh mountain air. It feels so good, Past the Bouton Gap, wave to the people who were there selling. Wanted to stop, but I figured, look, every stop I make is going to make the journey take longer. And it is going to be a situation where darkness on a road that is, the whole Canaries West Coast Road, beautiful, but, the winding nature of it and so on. I really don't want to be on it after dark and so on, especially knowing the way people behave with lights not dimming and all of that. But I'm talking about that place. When I looked and I saw the plastic bottles and the waste and the takeaway, paper boxes for food, whatever, and the plastic things. And I said, my goodness, why are we doing this? It can't be that I am any superior quality of human being that, especially on a nice country, road and so on, forest road, that for you to just look and to see that this does not belong there. And I looked at beside myself and I said, hey, look at me, everything is contained, whatever I bought, whatever I ate, whatever package for cookies, whatever, it's in a plastic bag, and not any plastic bag, the same plastic bag that they package it at the supermarket. I use it right away, it's my waste bag. I don't throw things out and so on. Why can't we all do the same? Is it so difficult? Plastic bottles and so on, the very advantage of them is that they are so light. You can crush, you can compact them yourself with your hand, you can, fold them and twist them and so on so that they take up space. Why are we doing that? People, we can do better than that. We don't need any special program. We don't need police to be charging us. We don't need to be fined. We don't need to be taken to court. We don't need to be held by the seat of our pants by police Zodi or whatever it is and so on. We don't need Inspector Reds to come back because it's not Zodi in the city. Zodi everywhere. Places where it just looks so, I think the word is incongruous. It just looks so out of place there. It's just so incompatible. But me see, it looks like in our country, usa play de, usa di bagay, usa advocate, usa, langupe washe. People are not going to stop doing those things because it's not going to stay by the road. It's going to go down in the areas of the drop-offs. And because, from Choiseul through to Soufrière and so on, there are very few extended flat areas that are at elevations in the heights, Maybe Lafargue Choiseul is the one place where you will find a very extended flat area where you can have a playing field, you can have schools, you can have Journée Créole. Apart from that, you press to find places, you'll go for Reunion on the one side, you get a little bit of flat, but it's a lot of steep side and drop-offs and so on. You go through many areas, and so naturally this waste, it is going to find itself down the slopes and into those nice areas of forest and so on that we can establish nature trails. But who wants to go on a nature trail that looks so dirty? Anyway, let me leave that alone. Like I said, I've said so much about that, and you know why I'm doing it, people? I love my country. I love my country. And I think many of us, most of us, maybe not all of us, we love our country. We love its beauty, its natural beauty, and so on. We talk about staycation and so on. I don't think for staycation you need to go and book. Yeah, of course, if you can do it, you need to go and book for a couple of weeks at Ladera or whatever it is. You can have a staycation just if a drive, if a picnic, if a hike. If we treat the country well, it's so recreational and so refreshing, for you to just take in the beauty of our country. It is so beautiful that at any moment you can have a staycation, a vacation, a relaxation. It's therapeutic. Our country is lovely, but we're destroying it. We're mashing it up. We're killing the beauty. And I would hate to think that we're going backward, people. There was a time once we saw a nice bird as a young man growing up. It's how we were socialized, how we were conditioned. First thing, nice bird or bel kaouch, but I gotta wash my foot at it. I would like to think that we've moved away from that we learned to, at the time we didn't have cameras and cell phone and, mobile thing and so on. So maybe that was the only way we felt we could capture the beauty, was to bring it down so we could hold it. Of course, the beauty went right away. But now we have phone, we have digital camera, we can watch a lovely bird and take a picture of it and go and show our friends without killing it. What is it about our environment that what we used to do where the birds were concerned a long time ago, that we have to do it, with our surroundings? Unless we are disfiguring it, unless we are, in some way, you understand what I'm saying? Unless we are totally messing it up like we don't feel good. It was bell. Like we have a certain affection, a certain fondness, a certain attachment to ugliness. And when something is not ugly, we have to find a way to make it ugly. And that ugliness goes to other human beings. Before anything is a knife, is a cutlass, is a gun. And we're doing it to our own selves with the vehicles, the way we drive. Because I wonder how many young men will never again be able to enjoy life. If it's not a fight, somebody chops somebody on the arm, is some unnecessary accident where you go and break some hip or knee or whatever that will never heal again properly, or you will not have the money for all the reconstructive surgery that is required, and you will be infirm and you will be all kinds of ways, and if you move this way, you're in endless pain that will last you for the rest of your life. We love ugly too much. I see people have a phrase where they like to say, God don't like ugly. I don't know. We're supposed to be made in the image and likeness of God. We're supposed to have the same sense of beauty and see beauty where he sees it. But I don't know. God don't like ugly. Well, I know a lot of us, we like ugly. So is that a sign that we're not godly? I don't know. I never get into the God don't like ugly thing. But it looks like too many of us, we like ugly. We like to make ourselves ugly. We like to make our environment and our surroundings and our nature and so on ugly. No, too bad guys say no try to buy lead. Like we have no sense of beauty. Anyway, this alone for now. A couple of things have happened in recent times. I don't think anything qualifies me to lecture people about having a good head on our shoulders. I don't always have one myself. About having sensibilities, about having, some good judgment and discretion about us. But the people I see who keep going after it, it bothers me because I classify them as sensible people, as intelligent people, as wise people. And yet I see this trend that before something is said, before something breaks out, too many of us jumping on it and like we want to, basically tear away at somebody, tear into them and, say things about the people that is really amounting to a calumny of things. You wonder if we really know what's going on, if we understand the issues, if we really have an appreciation of what's going on, or just because it seems to be the trend that everybody is going to dish away that person, we feel we have to dish away them too. And sometimes, even if we may feel that the person deserves it, who are we to be the ones to be the executioners of that deservedness of punishment? Who are we? Who appointed us as the agents of dispensing what we consider to be justice for that person and so on? How much of it belongs in the public domain? I know I have said about the St. Lucia Kings, and for the people who insist upon being killjoys and party poopers and rainers on our parade and you have me criticize them that the name of St. Lucia is associated with it. But we must have understanding. St. Lucia Kings is a franchise. It's a commercial, enterprise, pretty much a private outfit and so on of someone who invested in some cricket. They have to link up with your national authority, St. Lucia National Cricket Association, for them to get permission, whatever Sports St. Lucia Inc., Ministry of Sports and so on, to ensure that the game is played in accordance with the standards and regulations and all the things that are required to utilize the Darren Sammy Stadium and a whole lot of other things, the umpiring and, So it's not a matter of they can do it in isolation, but it's their outfit. When it comes to things like their selection, who they select to play on their team and who they don't select, it's commercial, it's competition driven. They want to beat Amazon Warriors and St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots and Trinidad and Tobago, Trinbago Knight Riders and, Antigua and Barbuda, whatever the name of the franchise is for them. They have to do it. You don't expect they're going to go and pick a Lapo team when they could have picked a better one because they want to spite somebody. And I just found there was just too much of this thing going on, implicating Darren Sammy of having a vendetta against a young man and trying to destroy his career and trying to do all of that. You believe if that was happening, word of it would not have reached the people who own, the St. Lucia Kings franchise or hold high positions, the chairman, the executive, whatever, the director of cricket, if Sammy as head coach, whatever, were victimizing anybody. I didn't join into that because, first of all, I didn't quite understand what was the issue, what was at stake. That Sammy had some beef or some grouse against a young man called Kimani Melius, and he was trying to frustrate the young man and mess up his career and this. And I said, St. Lucia Kings has never won the CPL up to that point. Here's the first time they win it. You think Sammy would be happy to take a chance to spite a young man, a fellow St. Lucian, and that may even put St. Lucia Kings another year of coming up craps, coming up empty-handed, coming up with the bogey, relentlessly pursuing and sticking itself to them that they can't win the CPL. You know, after St. Lucia took so long before we could field someone, you know, a St. Lucian on the West Indies team, he being the first one. We have not had consistent representation there since he rose to the position of captain and so on. I said, okay, whatever you may have, but at the end of the day, your compensation, your reimbursement, your remuneration, whatever, it depends on the results that you bring in. You know, look at the English, you know, soccer leagues and all of this kind of thing. Once a coach or manager is not bringing in the results, in fact, the whole European football setup, you're gone in no time. You think Sammy could have gone on such a long run and the investors in St. Lucia Kings and whatever, they would not say, well, we need to take another look at the coach and so on and see whether we should try somebody else. But people went on and on and on and on with that until at some point, I think Kimani Melius came out and made a statement. That was not enough. Then it became that Melius made the statement to save his skin because he's so afraid of Sammy and he's afraid what Sammy can do to him, so he came out. And this is the same thing I was saying with respect to Twatini. Why do we always feel we can speak for other people? Nobody can come and quote and say, I spoke to Kimani and he told me so and so and so. Or I know somebody who spoke to Kimani and he said he had to make the statement because matters would have been worse for him. We always feel, same thing with Twatine. You know, everybody knows Twatine not treated good and they're not treating Twatine good and they should have gone to Paris with him and all of that. But they don't even know the circumstances of what happens, whether there was anything pertaining to rules, whether there was anything pertaining to, you know, at the precise time, as happened to me recently, invited to Venezuela, but at the precise time, my passport was going to expire in exactly a month. And they said, no, the rules say you must have at least 6 months on your passport for you to go. I couldn't make the trip, etc., etc. They invited me a second time. It was a good thing that I'd even forgotten about the renewal, but I got it through and so on. You know, sometimes we don't know what are the other things that are going on in the background, but we jump on it and so on. And we put in blows on people left, right, and center. People, we got to be careful of those things. If Kimani Melius spoke for himself, we have to take him at face value and take his word for it. If there are other things occurring in the background, folks, don't tell me if Kimani Melius, a young man, an active cricketer, if he is being deliberately victimized and spited by a senior, you know, figure like Darren, Sammy, and so on, somebody, an accomplished person. Oh, I mean, there is no other place that Kimani can push his head and say, you know, Minister Kenson, there's something I want to discuss with you. So and so and so, you know, Darren Sammy is holding me back. And I think he's doing it, you know, out of spite because we had an exchange where I cussed him, whatever, and he's never let go of that. You know, don't tell me, young man though he is, we heard of the sympathy that was shown to him by people like Kyron Pollard and Dwayne Bravo and those people. Don't tell me Kimani cannot say something to them, that a little whisper, that a Kyron Pollard, those fellas were good, it seems. Can't call Sammy and say, hey, you know, Darren, I think you should cut the young man some slack. I mean, there are not endless ways that he cannot go and talk to somebody or some people, and they cannot even talk to Sammy or whatever about it. I was never buying it. Sammy apparently came out and gave some response and some people, let me tell you something. Darren Sammy is a national figure of tremendous significance and import. And it's not everything we have to see through the so-called, because I saw some people raise the point about, you know, under the Labour Party, they did so much for Darren Sammy and now, like, he's not supporting. There was never any quid pro quo. This is our first guy to break into the West Indies team. He performed tremendously well, practically on his first outing. What was it in the ICC Champions Trophy or whatever back in 2004, 2006? Brian Lara was still captain and so on. The guy performed brilliantly. After Sammy became captain of the West Indies, there's something a lot of people didn't notice. There were some fellas in the West Indies team at the time, according to the administrators, the board of WICB, found them to be very difficult to deal with. There was always some issue about contracts and this person not playing because they're unavailable. Darren Sammy became captain. And there seemed to be a chemistry. I don't know if it's an easygoing nature. The fellas who were reportedly giving trouble, like Chris Gill, Dwayne Bravo, I can't remember if Ramner Sawan was still around. For some reason, they seemed to close ranks around him. And you got the sense that although the overall quality and conditioning of West Indies cricket and the conditioning of its players and so on was on the decline and was not the best, was not the standard it had been, there wasn't the commitment. You got a feeling that if only for a brief period under Sammy's captaincy, that the Chris Gills and the Dwayne Bravos and the Pollards, those fellas, they closed ranks. There was no looking down on him and no, trying to undermine him or to not put their best foot forward because they didn't like him. You got a feeling they liked him, that he brought out the best in them. His own performances may not have been stellar with the bat or with the ball, whatever, but you got the sense that there was an atmosphere, a charisma, an environment of leadership, an aura of leadership surrounding Sammy. That the 2 World Cups that he won, especially the last one in 2016, that you had a feeling that even, the Carlos Brathwaite, Barbadians, people have said they have a superior attitude. They think they must. You had a feeling that everybody was closing ranks around Captain Darren Sammy. That they believed in him and they put out their best for him. And he had a way of inspiring and motivating them. A small islander, all the talk we heard. Beyond everything else, being the first St. Lucian at the West Indies level, there was something about Darren Sammy that we have not yet reckoned. How he was able to get the fellas from the Guyana and Trinidad and Jamaica, where he said, they have no regard for Leeward or Windward Islanders. Well, Leeward's with Viv Richards and so on. I don't think people were messing with them. But with a Windward Islander, St. Lucia, first time in thing, and you are a captain, you're the man to place field and to this and that. You got the feeling that none of this mattered. They loved the guy. That was an accomplishment. I don't care whether Sammy supports Alan Chasney or Flambeau or Labour. That does not diminish from who he has become to us in terms of giving us a reason to believe in ourselves, a further reason to give us hope, to give us that sense of inspiration that yes, we can do it. So people, I just want to say, as I felt then with this, it seemed to have blown over. But the whole thing of what was being said about Darren Sammy and what and how he this and that and the other and what he do to Kimani Melius and so on. Melius didn't say that. It's people who claim to be his family here and so on and so forth. Darren Sammy, I think, even if it's an oblique offhanded way, has dismissed that, has said there's no truth in that kind of thing. Let's stop this kind of thing because they are lighting fires that the people who go after those fires to fan them and believe that they are doing something good. You may not be doing anything good. There could be consequences for attacking a person who has become not just a national figure, a legendary figure in West Indies. How was this guy who Lester Bird contemptuously described him as a journeyman, as a man who's just holding and filling in a place, that he cannot even properly justify or deserve on the West Indies team. But that journeyman cricketer, there was some larger qualities about him that held West Indies. When this guy took the position about what he said about the uniforms, we came here and we didn't even have uniforms. And he had to be running all over the place. And he didn't like the way the players... The man put his neck on the block and I think his neck got chopped from that time by the Wycliffe Dave Cameron fellow, He showed himself on the side of his players and I think that caused the players to believe in him, to love him even more, to support him and so on. So let's be a little reserved about when we take those things and wrong them. And this is why it brings me, before the break, we're going to have Lisa Jawai basically after the 1 o'clock break. So this thing that's going on with First National Bank of St. Lucia, formerly the St. Lucia Cooperative Bank, there is some industrial action taking place. Where apparently the workers are disgruntled about some benefits and wage increases and other, things that unions normally do. That apparently was negotiated and agreed to, but implementing it and so on seems to be, something that's lagging. So they're taking industrial action or whatever on it. Information has come out suggesting that the chairman of First National Bank also holds some high position on the National Workers Union. That's all over the place, which represents the employees of the banks, the very ones who are taking industrial action and striking, whatever, although I understand they've been ordered to return to work today, pending the intervention of the labor minister. Now, if it is true, forget about the fact that I'm hearing that the chairman of the board of directors of First National is also the brother of the principal figure in the union that is representing the workers. Forget about the brother thing. But if it is true that the chairman of the bank simultaneously holds some very high position in the directorate of that same union that is representing the workers, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I mean, come on. On whose side is that chairman? Is he really on the side of the bank or is he on the side of the unions? My view of it is that it is an untenable, intolerable conflict of interest. That's my, if, and I keep saying if it is true, because sometimes you hear people saying things for certainty, and sometimes there's been a quiet resignation or recusing from self that nobody knows happened, whatever. But to me, there are other directors. There are shareholders in the bank. And they would know immediately that you can't have someone who is heading an institution whose workers are represented in industrial relations advocacy by a certain union, and you also hold in a position of vice president or whatever of that union and so on. It's a no-brainer, immediately. It should never have reached that point, but it makes you ask, if it is true, what were the other directors doing? What were the shareholders and other people who have some major controlling stake and beneficial interest in the bank? On whose side are you? Now, the reality is, you have to stop thinking that the government must just wade in. Government has to be very careful how it treats with those things. It must be seen to be above board and above the fray. Even if it has an interest, as people say, through the National Insurance Corporation, which is debatable whether that means that Philip J. Pierre and Virginia Albert and so on, that, the government is a shareholder and all people are looking for all kinds of different things, although I say it should never have been allowed. People, especially my people, and I think you know what I mean, my people, my brethren and my sistren, my comrades, be very careful that people are not setting you up to rush in after red herrings that they're deliberately planting. So that when you go in a mistimed way, in a manner that is not just mistimed, but in a manner that is misconceived and so on, to rush into something that is exactly what they wanted you to do. That is exactly a setup. So that they can see, that basically you did this and you complicated the matter. Be very careful, especially when it has to do with banking and finance matters. When all they have tried with the CIP and so on seems to have crashed and burned, it has not really yielded the kind of impact that they wanted it to yield. That to create some other major national commotion over one of St. Lucia's founding indigenous banks and so on, maybe what they after. Don't rush after this thing. Let the process work. There are provisions in our labor code about the grievance procedure, how it is supposed to work out, when it is supposed to go to the labor commissioner, when it is supposed to go to a process called arbitration, and after that, I think, go to the Minister of Labor, and if there is not surprise, it can go to tribunal or to court or whatever it is. Let it go. And don't push the Minister of Labor to get into that. The bank is still in its composition, in its formation, in the formula that is used to incorporate it and so on and to sustain it. It's pretty much a private institution. It's not a government-owned bank or state-owned bank. Not because a state entity, which has to make decisions according to its board of directors, what it invests in, so that it can sustain, the pension payments and so on for people. That's how national insurances are able to keep going. Actuaries and so on tell them you need to invest, and they make decisions, okay, we'll invest in this, we'll invest in that, etc., etc. That doesn't make it a government bank. Stop making noise about the government. Allow the procedure to take place. Stop going and say, okay, you're going to tell people to withdraw their accounts from that bank and crash and collapse that bank and so on. That may be too much for too little, too early. We need sometimes to learn to cool out ourselves and avoid the traps. Some of the people who are involved in setting those traps They're really old veterans, old veterans in business. They're the people, you look back in the past, they were always the ones controlling the board of directors and on the cooperatives and the chamber of commerce and so on. They have a lot of connections and network and influence. And they're scheming and plotting how to accomplish something in a sneaky, underhanded manner that they could not in a direct confrontation. And they're losing the direct confrontations, and they're working very hard, you can believe me, to achieve what in St. Lucia we know well. Complot, pli fort par ces chambres. These people are trying all kind of plots, and they might be doing things to deliberately suck in your government, your minister, so on and so on, so that at the end, they can put the blame for everything that mushrooms bear on your shoulders and blame you for it. Be very careful. This red herring thing, some people, they know it very, very, very well. It sometimes pays to cool out ourselves. This is the real issues. We take our first break. When we come back, Senator Jawai is already here.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The Ministry of Health has launched yet another service under universal health coverage. This new service includes conducting pap smears using liquid-based cytology, which will assist in eliminating cervical cancer.
This new method of conducting pap smears is more comfortable and more convenient. So ladies, contact your nearest wellness center to get to know about our pap smear clinics.
Turnaround time for HPV testing is 1 week. Any abnormal or positive test, there'll be a following week for the cytology testing. We're also going to test for HPV strains 16 and 18, which are the most aggressive, which cause cervical cancer. We can also test for other STIs, such as herpes simplex type 1 and type 2, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others.
Patients with an abnormal HPV and an abnormal cytology shall be referred to the colposcopy clinic. At that clinic, we shall assure that you get the proper treatment and guidance.
So come in and access this new service. Your health is our priority.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The
Employment figures looking encouraging for 2024, and in just a few days, a very significant annual conference of delegates that I believe will feature the Prime Minister of another OECS and Windward Islands territory. There's so much to talk about, and who better to bring on to do that than the Communications Director of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party and legislator, Senator Lisa C. Jawai. Good day and welcome once again to our program.
Good day, Shelton. Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon to listeners of The Real Issues. A little bird told me last Wednesday during my show that Shelton was vexed with me, so I had to call him this morning, and to which he said it was fake news. So for the people trying to interfere with my friendship with my comrade, please stay out of our business.
I wonder if I may have cracked one of my usual jokes about it's so long Lisa is not here. You know that I think I don't think tell her I'm not talking to her or something like that. You know, I do that from time to time.
Likely. But you know, every time we have the opportunity, we always take advantage of it, because it's really a very good avenue for us to speak to people, not just the Labour Party supporters, but we truly believe that a lot of independent-minded persons, you know, young people are listening to the show. They always say they like the vibe that Shelton brings. So it's an excellent opportunity, and I really like this time slot as well. It works. So Shelton, yes, we are celebrating in the constituency of Vieux-Fort North this coming Sunday. That is October 20th from 3 p.m. And why Vieux-Fort North particularly? Yes, we have conferences in the south, and we share a love with the south and the north, the west and the east. But something fantastic has happened over the last 50 years in two constituencies. In the Labrie constituency and the Vieux-Fort North constituency, we're experiencing what you call 50 years of unbroken support to the St. Lucia Labour Party. Unbroken support means for the last 50 years, year after year after year, and a St. Lucia Labour Party candidate has represented those constituencies. And last week I took some time, I went down, I met with some people in the south and had some conversations just to get their thoughts on, you know, a few things, how the government is doing, you know, your thoughts on our prime minister, your parliamentary rep. Why has your constituency for 50 years supported the SLP? And a lot of persons from various backgrounds. There's one particular lady who I was so moved by her testimony. And if you are coming to the open conference this Sunday, we will be at the Bellevue Combined School, and that's in Vieux-Fort North. We'll be there from 3 p.m. Of course, people will be coming early to get their seats and to ensure they participate in the wide range of entertainment that we have in store for you. And this lady, Avis, she's Dutch. So you may want to say she's of some Caucasian mixed descent. Okay. She's Dutch, and she came to St. Lucia when she was younger. And she spoke of how her family supported the SLP. And when the leader of the United Workers' Party at the time, Sir John, left that union and formed another party, and she spoke of how her family was so broken by that, like they felt betrayed. And so they never wavered in support. She actually taught the parliamentary rep, Honorable Alva Baptiste. And she gave us a testimony, which we will play for you on Sunday. She'll also be there in person. And it really opened up my eyes as, you know, an upcoming as a young person in politics. And you think, Shelton, that even for those who are our seniors, that history is so rich from these constituencies. And it's no wonder why the parliamentary representative for Vieux-Fort North, for example, Honorable Moses Jabatis, continues to ensure that a particular culture or a particular display of culture is integrated into everything he does. So when you see for SLP meetings, he comes with a piece, whether he plays the guitar, whether he does some cultural piece. That constituency is so rich with talent and a Labour Party history that we said we are going to bring our open conference to you. So this Sunday, all roads will lead to Meku North, to Vieux-Fort North, sorry. And that is in the constituency of the chairman of the Labour Party, also our Minister for Health, Honorable Moses Jabatis. Will be there from 3 p.m. We have lots of entertainment. I'm telling you, you will hear a whole lot more about the entertainment, but we have persons from segment to ballads to to gospel. It's just going to be a vibe. It's a celebration because these two constituencies have never wavered in showing the SLP that they support them. I visited this elderly lady. You'll hear from her again on Sunday, and she spoke of how, you know, she would never support any other party because Labour was the first one to do this, Labour was the first one to do that. Then we went over to Honorable Dr. Kenny Anthony's constituency, Viewfort South. We actually drove past the mom, and we saw people on the side of the road who were having conversations with them, and they were telling us that, you know, that place used to flood. For years, that place was just flooded. And Dr. Anthony came and proper drainage and the works that he did. And they were just marveling at the work of the parliamentary representative. And big up Mahoney Oje, we went over to his house. Hope you're feeling better, a little better today, comrade. And he also gave us a testimonial. We spoke to business people. We spoke to young people. A young lady even gave us a little piece of rap music. Let me tell you, it's just going to be a vibe because so many people are speaking so positively about their parliamentary representatives.
Right. You know, I'm sorry I have to go a little off what your flow, but I'm getting persistent reports, and they're coming from such as Senator Alison Jean, Mr. Robert Lee, Gaspar Henry, who are all saying that the volume is breaking up on the TV. All right, so yeah, radio apparently or wherever else, Facebook Live is okay with them, but it seemed like on the TV people are complaining about some breakup. Okay, Alison says, Senator Alison Jean, your volume is breaking up on TV. Let me see, Gaspar Henry now says that it has come back clearly. Yeah, he says not hearing Lisa, breaking up, then he says it has come back clearly.
Okay, so I'm happy to hear that we are back on, comrades. Thank you so much.
Another person says, good day, the show today, not good at all. That's from someone at Mondido. So I hope we can get that resolved. I don't know why it's been happening. But go ahead and let me just very quickly acknowledge a former co-worker, Erwin Alcindor, from back in my days at Radio Caribbean. He says, a car hit me yesterday morning. I spent a few hours at hospital, but I'm better than yesterday. Owen, I'm so very sorry to hear that.
Yes, really
but feeling a little better to hear that you're improving. And I hope it's something that you'll pull out of fairly quickly and completely. Go ahead, Senator.
Yes, so just a quick recap. 50 years of unbroken support to the Labour Party from Viewfort North and Castries, from Viewfort North and Labrie constituencies. We also went over to Viewfort South because we really wanted to capture a lot of the feeling on the ground in the South. Oftentimes our comrades say, you know, you need to spend a little more time down there. And Dr. Kenny Anthony, you know, it's almost 3 decades of service as well. And Viewfort South will also be featured. So we have tons of entertainment. And the big thing for us is, usually everybody's trying to figure out who's going to be the guest speaker, what will the message be this year. And I'm happy to report that we have secured Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonzalez,
Yes.
the great comrade, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who will be our guest speaker this Sunday. And our theme is moving forward together for more progress. Our theme last year was moving forward together. Our theme for the walk was walk of progress, and we merged the two, moving forward together for more progress. And so what we have seen is a very efficient scorecard being laid out by the St. Lucia Labour Party, the Prime Minister, the Cabinet of Ministers, on what the SLP has been able to achieve thus far. And of course, we are not where we all need to be. Of course, timing. We are in the 4th year, going into the 4th year, and so we'll see a whole lot more being delivered. Today, the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Ernest Hille, spoke of, you know, some more engagement happening with hotels. Some investors are on the ground, so the economy is booming. And so there is so much for us as a people to celebrate Shelton. And I don't think it requires us to just be on social media, just, you know, commenting here, there, put out a graphic and that's it. We believe that the personal interaction is always good. Now, the open conference of delegates really stems from the Labour Party's belief in being a structured, organized party where it hosts annual general meetings in every single constituency. And our last AGM was last night. We were over in the constituency of Adsler Canneries.
Roseau Combined School.
We were at the Roseau Combined School. And rain, shine, Karen, go Karen, come back. Let me tell you, Shelton, Honorable Wayne Gerard was on fire. Now, I heard Honorable Gerard at Passius when we were celebrating our, I believe it was 2 years in office at Passius, on the Passius playing field. And he was on fire. I've heard him at pre-cabinet press briefings, and he's been on fire. But last night was nothing like you've ever seen before. And he took the mic and he said, "Piesti boy, pakati we yeah." And I said,
Since when Ranger talks like that?
Since when he talks like that, he spoke of his commitment to the constituency, and you know, it was an excellent lead up to his presentation by the guest speaker, Honorable Sean Edward, Parliamentary Rep for Dennery North. Honorable Sean spoke of Wayne's contributions to cabinet, to parliament, the various things that we see representing the Prime Minister, representing the government at IMF meetings, World Bank meetings. Wayne Gerard is the go-to person for these things. And so this man, you know, when the people tell you he's a bright boy, he's a bright boy, a bank of knowledge, and clearly a bank of fire was unleashed in Roseau last night because the parliamentary rep spoke with conviction on his doings in the constituency. He went community by community, and if it wasn't for the rain, because it wasn't just rain, that was just, I don't know, showers of blessings is what we like to call it. And so, you know, he concluded, and the Prime Minister took the mic. I think PM was also really impressed. Everybody looked really impressed with the delivery by Honorable Wayne Gerard. And I'm saying it with a smile on my face for the persons who cannot see. He was excellent. We were able to record it. So
to the people who spreading propaganda about Wayne Gerard is gone again, is gone already, they hear that Wayne Gerard just now coming. You know? He come in.
Well, you see, he did, both him and Honorable Sean did speak towards being more on the ground, being more connected.
Well, we know that Sean is Sean again. You know?
Yeah, and Sean actually said, you know, there are people in my constituency who say they're not seeing me. There are people in Musa constituency who say they're not seeing him. And so Honorable Wayne Gerard recommitted himself to the people, spoke of, you know, the heavy workload and the things that he's been doing, and he continues to stand by his position that he will not post on Facebook the things he does for the people. And guess what? The people who were present responded favorably to that. They said, no, that's not their business. He does not want to share these personal things. He doesn't want to show a check. He doesn't want to show a hamper. He doesn't want to do that. He believes his work should speak for himself. And you know, we always said to him, and we always say to all of our MPs, capturing the work is important because our soldiers need to be armed with the information. And he's recognized that. And yesterday was, oh my gosh, you know, if I wasn't assigned to a constituency, I would maybe have a little bias and go down on the ground. But from what I heard yesterday, I think the United Workers' Party has something coming.
Okay, all right, okay, great stuff. Love to hear that.
Shelton, you have to come and I will invite people, including yourself, if in the event that you were not able to view it yesterday, if you want a recap of Honorable Wayne Gerard's presentation. Towards the end, it got a bit choppy because of the weather, we had some power outages that came back a little later on. You can view his presentation on the St. Lucia Labour Party's Facebook page. We kept it there deliberately because we want you to go back and hear the crowd's response to their parliamentary rep. The people know their business. The people know their business.
All right. A former customs officer just sent a message regarding the rubbish all over the island. I think St. Lucia needs a continuous step-style program to address this. Well, that's a thought. We definitely will never stop having need for people to clean up. But I believe we need for people to have a greater consciousness, you know. You know, it's all part of the national pride. I love my country. I want to see my country do well spoken about. You know, I want when I read the travel magazines and to see tourists saying, you know, we visited St. Lucia and what impressed us, you know, was that the country is so clean. These are the kind of things that make us feel. It's not just only when Julian Alfred crashes through, you know, the final line in 100 meters or Darren, Sammy, or you know, it's about when we hear our country being well spoken of, you know, and we know it's not something that's a setup. All right. Another person says that it goes in and out with regard to the sound. Let's hope that it stabilizes itself. Lisa has said so many. Do you want to comment on the good employment figures that we are seeing for the second quarter of this year and so on? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do believe that the numbers speak for themselves, but you know, we've really seen an influx of visitors to the island. We saw the tourism pulse, which indicated that we had a whole lot more persons coming to St. Lucia, especially for World Cup, CPL. Well, Carnival was earlier, but World Cup, CPL. We've seen more investments and some rooms are going up. And so the Deputy Prime Minister really spoke towards a whole lot more projects coming underway, and we'll see construction phases. He also spoke of Global Ports Holding and some of their arrangements and how the work is moving on very quickly in that regard. He spoke of the Canals project, and you know, they're just people who just want to make something stick and they're not sticking enough, and by that I mean, you know, there's just a desire. I think I have gone past the belief that there's a genuine need for information to share. I think it's more, it has become a need for people to tie their tongues or to tie themselves up in what they are saying, because I found it quite ridiculous, and I've found it ridiculous, and you know, maybe I might get challenged on this, and I remain unbothered, because I think it's time that somebody talks about these things. There are just some reporters that no matter how many times you ask the question, they want to bring it up. And I'm saying, but what is it to you? You're asking the same questions, you're getting an answer. If the answer is not yours, I guess so. Is that the job for the media? Or is it now a personal attack, because it has become more of, but you said this on that date, and no, he didn't say this on that date, and that CIP thing that I believe the United Workers' Party is trying so hard to keep alive. I think we need to be a bit more aware now, because we've caught on to them. And I want to encourage our supporters, when the conversation about CIP comes, the best place to get the information is from the Department of CIP, the CIP unit, and by extension, the Minister of Government. You see people asking all kind of questions, and they are making assumptions, and they want you to come and answer on their assumptions, when the origin of their assumptions or what would trigger their assumptions is really just hearsay of things online, wasting people's time.
We knew about the loss of correspondent banking relationships at the Bank of St. Lucia, which came out and said there's no truth in that.
But they know about everything.
Then they jump over to Dominica,
right,
that there was loss, which Roosevelt Skerritt knew nothing about that, which Timothy Antoine, governor of our central bank, says he has not a clue about this kind of thing. They know that we're losing correspondent banking, and they come and ask those questions as if it is fact. It's not a matter of, Prime Minister, is it true that we have lost correspondent banking? No, Prime Minister, you know, we have lost correspondent, and you tell yourself, by the way, if I were the Prime Minister, do these people know something that even I as Prime Minister, I don't know? Because, you know, how come they come in and shooting those questions as if the questions are front-end loaded? It's a foregone conclusion that this is true, and then you realize not entirely goes so.
But it's for the weekly bombshells on Thursdays, and so always coming to look for information. I get it, I understand, but it does not, and I would say it personally, doesn't feel like it's coming from a genuine place, because it's like you're trying to put words in people's mouths. When the conversation about CIP comes up, I believe the best place to get the information is from the minister or the Department of CIP. And St. Lucians need to understand that for us to better understand this, let's take a look at what the other countries are doing. How St. Kitts was able to pay its public servants a bonus or an increase because of CIP. How Dominica was able to recover and after losing 225% of their GDP from Hurricane Maria by building homes for people. That when the Prime Minister is engaged with a contractor, local contractor, to build a housing development in Rockall, which was abandoned for 6 years by the Belarus Doctrine. This is something we need. When 100 homes will be built in Masque through CIP funds, it benefits the people of St. Lucia. I'm not saying there should be no accountability. There must be accountability. But I think the United Workers' Party is mad that we are using CIP to change people's lives for the better.
And so much of it is sounding so speculative. It's like you speculate on something and you come and present your speculation like a fait accompli.
That's what has happened.
And I believe, I mean, everybody knows.
And it's getting a little
everybody
old.
knows my passion and everything. But there's a difference between when you're hosting a talk show and when you are attending a press conference. And people who are in the business of journalism long enough and at a level enough, they understand how to adapt and adjust their approaches in these different settings. You do not go to a press conference and it's as if you want to engage in a slugfest in a
like that's the goal.
Basically, my aim is to pin you to the wall. What you do is that you blur the line between being a journalist and being a politician. You know, I mean, Alan Shastney goes to this Chamber of Commerce luncheon and so on. He stands up as a hotelier, but it is clear that he's more interested in doing what he should be doing in the parliament, except that he's always walking out.
Oh, you mean when he embarrassed himself by trying to embarrass
and so he goes there. But that is Alan Shastney. He's known to be a politician. But when someone who presents themselves as a media worker, you go to a press conference where you have an opportunity, and so your question becomes not, Mr. Prime Minister, is there any truth in reports that we have or about to lose correspondent banking relationship? That's a reporter's legitimate thing. But then when you go and you are trying to say that it has happened, despite it being disproved and denied by another Prime Minister of Dominica, the Governor of the Eastern Caribbean,
and that's not
and
enough.
You yourself cannot come with but quite apart from that, come with some documentary that while you all are saying no, Prime Minister, here is something in Bloomberg, in the Financial Times, you understand, in the Wall Street Journal, which says that this has happened. So why the disparity between the reports from St. Lucia and the region and from what these key financial publications, you know, I say you cannot come with that. And so you come as if it's a matter of your shirt is taken off and you want to fight and you're challenging the Prime Minister to a fight. It cannot be good because the next time you have such an interaction, right from the get-go, you have laid the foundation for a certain degree of hostility which will obfuscate the communication that you need to get answers. You know?
And it's quite sad, and I noted how the other colleagues were just turned off by it. I mean, what is really the intention? I think, you know, what would be good for us, the Deputy Prime Minister did say today at the pre-cabinet press briefing that come Tuesday he will make a statement on CIP, on BMAX, and he invited these bombshellers or bombshell droppers, what you want to call them. He invited them to send in some questions to be diffused, to send in their questions to him or comments to him, so at least he can do his best to address that at the parliament on Tuesday. So St. Lucia, it's an opportunity for us to educate ourselves, and we do so through various means, and one main or one channel we can, you know, rely on is Parliament. So Tuesday, NTN, GIS, Channel 122, Facebook, YouTube, whatever medium you prefer, there will be Parliament, and a statement on CIP will be issued.
All right. Okay, I see some discussion. Dr. Carlton Augustine, good afternoon to you. He says, the way some on the outside have reacted to the strike is alarming. They're talking about the First National Bank strike. They're trying to destabilize the government and the country. Anthony Mondesi says, I stand with the employees. Carlton Augustine says, we can stand with the employees, but the rule of law has to be followed. There is a procedure which has to be followed. Anthony replies, Carlton Augustine, they broke the part of the bargain, not the employees. Respect workers. The labor code has procedures for dealing with such a scenario, which is what Carlton Augustine replies. And this is the point. Why isn't anybody putting the union on the spot? Union it appears that a major industrial injustice is being done to your members who you represent at that bank. Where is your statement? How come we haven't seen a clear and unambiguous statement from you on the matter? And now maybe you can bring into focus whether the union itself is caught between a very cozy relationship, a suspiciously cozy relationship, a hand-in-glove relationship that exists between the union and the institution that employs the workers that it is representing. Because to me, you want minister to say something, and that's why I tell you, a lot of these things sometimes is a trap. It is a trap that is being set to try to rope in certain people. I see the name of the mayor of Castries is being brought into it. Once you see that somebody want to work their way up the food chain to Richard Frederick, usually that's what it is, Richard Frederick, mayor of Castries, appointed by Richard Frederick as Minister for Labour Government. If I can pin the minister, then I can work my way up to. And the moment you see that, you begin to know who are the not so background players, in this attempted orchestration. Why isn't the union in question being put on the spot as to why you have not been more forceful, as to why you have not been, more aggressive may not be the right word, but how come you have not been more vocal and forceful in terms of advocating for and representing your members? That's where it is. We have reached a point of a commercial break. I don't know how long Senator Jawai is going to stay. She'll stay till the end of the program, but she'll tell me in the break. But when we come back, phone lines will be open for your calls, and I'll read more of your messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The Ministry of Health has launched yet another service under universal health coverage. This new service includes conducting pap smears using liquid-based cytology, which will assist in eliminating cervical cancer.
This new method of conducting pap smears is more comfortable and more convenient. So ladies, contact your nearest wellness center to get to know about our pap smear clinics.
Turnaround time for HPV testing is 1 week. Any abnormal or positive test, there'll be a following week for the cytology testing. We're also going to test for HPV strains 16 and 18, which are the most aggressive, which cause cervical cancer. We can also test for other STIs, such as herpes simplex type 1 and type 2, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others.
Patients with an abnormal HPV and an abnormal cytology shall be referred to the colposcopy clinic. At that clinic, we shall assure that you get the proper treatment and guidance.
So come in and access this new service. Your health is our priority.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Lines are open for your calls. WhatsApp call us on 487-9849. That's 487-9849. And you can call us also on the local landline 4533-911. The Flambos are calling for a Martinique-style protest in St. Lucia. I didn't hear them say so myself. But Anthony Mondays, if that is true, Jude Pokes Harlow says they won't get that. Too much is being done by the present government. Vernon Casabon says, I support a protest like that against Massey. Will it remain confined to Massey? And, my friend, I'm going to tell you this. I have explained it before. The Martinique situation is different from the St. Lucia situation. The constitutional arrangement at the end of the day is like Martinique is like a dependent child that has every right to legally press for parental support and sustenance. Martinique is not yet independent. It is still a department. We don't even say colony. Martinique is a part of France. So they can consider that mainland France and Paris and Macron and whatever have a duty, a responsibility to them. We as independent St. Lucia, nobody is responsible for us. We're responsible for ourselves. So we have to handle things on our own accord. And the government is showing it is independently as a sovereign state, taking concrete measures to handle such things by such measures as the implementation of the minimum wage. That is one of them. Income support, all kinds of things to try to help, measures to beat back price gouging, giving concessions and relief and so on various taxes in the supply chain and all those sorts of things, having a basket of zero-rated or VAT-free items and so on. These are the measures that we are taking as a sovereign state responsible for our own selves. We have a call on the line. Good afternoon. Real Issues. Hello? Hello? Yeah, hello? You mentioned about, the Darren, Sammy, and the Williams, youngster, and so forth. But I watched the show, I watched the games, and then not once did I hear a mention of why Talawas did not participate this year. Was there any news? Was there anything relating to the absence of Talawas? Have they gone off, or what's the situation? Yeah. For different reasons, I didn't even notice that, to be honest. But for different reasons, franchises may prove not to be viable. Okay? Business reasons and so on. There was a team once called Antigua Hawksbill. It proved not to be sustainable. It's a private commercial enterprise, and they can collapse or find themselves in difficulty for some time. It can happen with so many of them. But it was not mentioned not once, because that's the first time that they did not perform. Yeah, well, maybe the Talawas became the Shotawas. They didn't have height anymore and so on. But these things happen. A new franchise has been constituted bearing the name of Antigua. What's the name again? The Antigua. No, that's the same Patriots there. But Antigua has another one, another name and so on. I don't know if you remember a year that they were called, I think at the time, the Trinbago or Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel. They got into some problems with then Sports Minister Anil Roberts, who is now a leading commentator and so on. And Anil Roberts disagreed with something, and he said, you can't use the name of Trinidad and so on. So, all kinds of things like that come into play at times, and sometimes the people who own the franchises, they don't want to put in more money because they're not happy with the returns that they're seeing. So I don't know really what happened. I can't speak to the Talawas, but I'm saying as a commercial enterprise, things can go. In all the commentary, it was not mentioned not once. Okay, I don't know. I can't speak to it. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, 487-9849, and I'm just happy that the franchise that bears the name of St. Lucia has been victorious this year. Exercise Muffley, okay? I don't care if they don't have one St. Lucian, although I do care, I'm just saying that. But at the end of the day, the name of St. Lucia associated with it. What's happening?
Good afternoon to my friend Mona Lisa Madje.
Good afternoon, stranger.
Okay, bro, what's up?
Yeah, I could let you know, man. I really admire Lisa, man. That Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah, there is another Lisa who is a troublemaker.
So, like I see some people do on Facebook, good afternoon to everyone except the other Lisa.
The other Lisa, yeah, that other Lisa, I don't know. She's just there to try to show my Prime Minister off his game, but my Prime Minister know how to handle himself respectfully.
Okay.
My Prime Minister know how to defend himself, and he's doing so well. He's doing so well. You know, I didn't know the main cause of such a waginess yesterday. But you know, as Lisa just come and say, well, Dr. Ralph will be in the house. You know, I'm now checking why these guys were so troublesome yesterday, guys, now?
What's that?
Say again, I'm not in.
No, it's as Lisa. Lisa come and say that that Dr. Ralph Gonzalez will be down the road. I now see why those guys were so watching yesterday, guys, now.
Okay.
Missy.
What happened yesterday?
Them fellas try to take Dr. Anthony's stripes, you know. Shelton, there are 3 prime ministers who made all the effort to finish the hospital. Stevenson King, Dr. Kenny Anthony, Philip Japierre, and Philip Japierre will not try to finish it up. In Jesus' name, the people of Beaufort and St. Lucia, in the name of the Most High God, under this administration, St. Jude will be accomplished. Amen.
And the stadium will be restored.
So I heard Guy Joseph saying about horses were at St. Jude, cows were at St. Jude. The horses and the cows, they were at St. Jude because they take away the land from the farmers.
Exactly. Those animals.
They take away the farmers.
Those animals.
Land.
Those animals used to free graze
so
and
the cattle now. The farmers' cattle have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go, as Ross Isley say, nowhere to go, nothing to do. They had nowhere to go. You see, imagine a man like Dr. Kenny Anthony. Under his administration, so much was accomplished. We got the stadiums, the best stadium, the first stadium with lights to host a T20. It was Dr. Kenny Anthony who gave us that. The eye care program from Cuba, the $500 when your child going to a secondary school, Kenny Anthony DNA is on that, and so many other things Kenny Anthony did for us as a people. There are places in Beaufort where it's just swamp there. Mosquitoes used to be playing football with the people, but now the people can bring us a relief. That is Dr. Kenny Anthony. The land that they lost, Kenny Anthony had to go and buy that back. So you could never take away Dr. Kenny Anthony's stripes from him.
So Gaspar, let's understand something. You're saying that there was some meeting, forum, whatever, and they were blaming Dr. Anthony. They were blaming Dr. Anthony for St. Jude.
But them fellas just talk a kind of.
What did they have? What did they have? A town hall, a round table. What was it?
And I didn't even know what them fellas had there yesterday, but a Kalmaja. And the fellas just got loose, attacking Kenny Anthony, trying to take away the man's stripes.
But that's what they have to do.
You never erase Kenny Anthony from the history of politics in our country. Never.
But that is all they have to do. Because I saw this clip circulating where the former parliamentary rep for Castries Southeast was saying that if he doesn't finish St. Jude, he should shut up and let people finish St. Jude. So that was circulating. So I think we do
not deserve to be in government.
You don't deserve to come there. Boy, the man was just biting people left, right, and center. But I want to appeal to the people, especially the 13,000 people that going to get an increase in their salary as a result of the minimum wage. These 13,000 people have to come out and vote Labour, because Labour is responsible for more money in your pocket. And the money they're getting, Lisa, is cash, not ching-ching, That minimum wage, Shelton, that minimum wage, where the people going to get an increase, that's not no ching-ching, or no empowerment card. It's live cash. So I want to tell these people to vote Labour. The pensioners are getting a little increase. vote Labour. The footballers, the footballers that got the professional, semi-professional league, vote Labour. We have to ensure that we protect the victory, and at the end of the day, we give Philippe J. Pierre a second term to finish the work that he has started. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
You know,
All
that,
right.
that would just invite us to go down the St. Jude topic and all of that, which we can always do, but you know, sometimes you just have to ignore because we know the truth.
Okay, we have another caller coming through. Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real issues. Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, hi. Good
Hello,
afternoon.
am I there?
Yeah, good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yes, I have some observation that the government have to be very careful because they're spreading a lot of propaganda. These guys are desperate, and they still determined that they're not going to wait for the one free quarter years for election. They usually start saying they ask a lady to bring surgical thread to either St. Jude or I don't know, but it is what I heard. I find it very strange that they are asking a lady who's supposed to be operated on to bring surgical thread for them to use for they don't have. And you know, if we don't really careful, people will believe these things. So I want thing on that to believe that is true. This is how bad they put it on the hospital, you know. Because they are very desperate. And what they had yesterday, they are campaigning. The WP is in a campaign mood because they feel they win the election. Motul even said that how they made a survey between something or other somewhere, I don't know, in the country, and what they had. They attracted more people.
The walk of progress versus what they had in the board.
They win already. So Labour have to be very careful, very, very careful. I know what Mr. P has been doing, has secured his other election, but we have to be very, very careful because people are very, very naive. They can believe all of these things, you know, and you know, so Labour have to be very careful. All these lies, this people are saying. Now, I am the lady saying she didn't know. You have to listen to this people. They spread a lot of propaganda, and you have to debunk these things, you know, because I can't believe, I will never believe that the hospital don't have surgical thread to operate on people. Like I would hate to think that is true. And a lot of other things, you know, because I already doesn't believe them. So I don't want to start believing these guys, what they say, because I know it's like yeah, they are campaigning to see that government down. So they have to be very careful.
All right, thank you. We hear you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but there are so many lies there that continue to be pushed, Shelton, and I just want to really quickly segue into one. The United Workers' Party has been having forums on crime prevention, crime addressing crime. One former inspector says there's no gang per se in St. Lucia. Another former minister says they don't have CCTV. When they came in, there was a plan and they don't have CCTV. I mean, how has the police been able to capture criminals so quickly, quicker than they used to? The CCTV, on many occasions, the Prime Minister has been saying is working, but the United Workers' Party members come out and lie. Is either they don't watch the news, they're not up to date with what things are, what is going on, or they are blatantly lying just to say things and make it stick, and they believe that, you know, maybe we can tell our supporters this so they can carry the information. And I always say, learn the facts for yourself, because they can wake up tomorrow and just make up a lie, which is what they have been doing, Shelton. You know, and I genuinely believe whilst we must debunk some of that, we must also not lose focus on what the Prime Minister is doing and try to give the good more. And that is just a problem that we have, and we can chat very quickly about it, Shelton. When you ask people to share something positive, either they respond, they don't respond, and you see 12, 13 likes. When there's something sensational or rural or lie, oh, is that true? Is that true? You see 100 and something forwards. Like, we gravitate more towards sensationalism and negativity. And I think we if we really want to know the truth for ourselves and share the truthful information, then we have areas that we can get information from Shelton and share that. So when the UWP members come out and say that CCTV is not functioning, somebody who would have listened to a press conference by the police can say, but no, that is not true. And that's what we constantly have to do day after day after day.
Okay. We have a call on the line. Good afternoon, Real Issues.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Lisa.
Hello, afternoon.
Which Lisa? I don't know which of them is there. If it's this Lisa, that Lisa, the other Lisa, or another.
LISAJAWAHIR.
That one. Okay, let me say this, right? I will say, I try to use music. Under this current administration, we are heading into the 4th year. If we ask the question, like Rickety, how we living? Better than them. And then the other one is, what we get in? All we want is money. You know what I'm saying? That is what has been happening under this administration. Now, when you look at what existed prior and what exists now, it's a vast difference, vast improvement, and if I were them, I would be angry, just as they are angry. And I hear there was in Beaufort yesterday. What they doing there, I don't know.
The church service.
They attended mass, and that's good. We are happy to welcome them to Beaufort. The 23 islands are still below sea level. So we are happy to welcome them into Beaufort South, not the Pearl of the Caribbean. This is Beaufort. And we shall eventually get back our 1,000 acres of land. No panjeta, no fini. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Oh, Lisa, you blessing my bobo about yesterday in Roseau, telling me what. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
Bonjour camarade Shelton et Lisa. Moi tan yo di zot teka mal parler moins plus bonheur. I cannot get the program on Facebook and the TV signal is breaking up. Great show as always.
Oh, yeah, we really need to get that TV and signal thing sorted. Honestly. That's a telecommunications issue.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get those things and it's pretty much, I don't really know what it is. Let me see. We are coming to the end of the program, so.
Yeah, but well, Shelton, really, and I know obviously, Comrade Oje, since you're just joining us, we were really highlighting why, how the people of Beaufort North and Labrie has supported the Labour Party for 50 years, unbroken support, meaning they've never voted UWP, they've never put in a UWP MP for the last 50 years. And hats off to, these strong soldiers who recognize the principles that our country was built on and the principles of the labor movement and fighting for the rights of our people, fighting for adult suffrage, fighting for equality, fighting for equity, fighting for women to have a seat at the table, fighting for fighting against racism, fighting against discriminatory procedures as it relates to equal pay, etc. A lot of these things really came out of a labor movement, and these persons have been unwavering in their support for labor, and that is why we've decided to have our open conference in Beaufort North. We can't have the conference in both constituencies. Something else will be coming to the other one at some point. But for now, Beaufort North, we will be celebrating 50 years of unbroken support to the St. Lucia Labour Party this Sunday from 3 p.m. at the St. Lucia Labour Party's Conference of Delegates.
Okay.
The Conference of Delegates is where representatives from all across St. Lucia, it's of course the invitation is extended to soldiers of the Labour Party, to independents, whatever you are. If you just want to listen to the Prime Minister, listen to the vibes going on, listen to your MPs, or even listen to our guest speaker, Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves,
interesting,
Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You will hear from them on Sunday, because all roads will lead to Bellevue Combined School, and that's in Vieux Fort North this Sunday at 3 p.m.
Okay, I am a supporter of SLP, though I agree that my Rep Kenson Kazimi works, but sadly we don't see him at all. Since elections, I have only seen him once at a community meeting at the GR school. Please advise Kenson to step up on game, have community meetings, and make sure same is well advised in advance.
Do you know where that person, which community that person is from?
As a matter of fact, the person doesn't even have in my contact list, just the number I can share with you. Maybe they can. All right. Mahoney says, lies are the most effective weapons of a conman. We must never allow our fellow St. Lucians to fall victim to that again. We're not going back to the dark days of demolition and the Belrose doctrine.
At all. Not at all.
All right. Let me see what else I have there. Okay, we probably will have to leave it at that. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thank you, Comrade Senator Lisa Jawai, for joining us here today and sharing. Let me see that. Someone says, mention to Lisa, it's not Tuesday tomorrow for the sitting. You don't want people logging,
thank you.
Logging on to look for nothing. Then say all
today
sorts
is
of
Monday, appreciated. Next week, Tuesday, thank you very much for that, for highlighting that. Next week, Tuesday, October 22nd, there will be Parliament, and CIP will be, there will be a statement from the Minister on CIP.
Okay, so that's the real issues for today at the start of this fresh week, Monday, the 14th of October. Thank you so very much, everyone, for having been part of it. Thank you, Jaquan, for another great job at the controls and with the calls. And insofar as the breakup on the TV, we're sorry about that. It seemed to have resolved itself somewhat, though not completely, as the program progressed. I have confidence that tomorrow will be better, as our technical people will be looking into that. Until then, on behalf of Senator Lisa Jawai, Shelton Daniel signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back.
14th October.
Drawn is FB. 1 off. 220. Lucky 3 422. The lucky 3 multi-expo drawn is 2x.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues.